Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian oil refineries, which resumed in August and affected at least 7 major refineries, could cause irreparable damage to the domestic oil refining industry, warns Sergei Vakulenko, a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Since the beginning of the month, drone attacks have completely shut down the Syzran, Novokuybishevsk, Saratov, and Volgograd refineries in Russia. Rosneft's Ryazan refinery, which supplies fuel to Moscow and the region, has stopped half its capacity. Drone attacks have also hit the Slavyansk, Afipsky, and Novoshakhtinsky refineries. These refineries could be out of action for a long time or even forever, Vakulenko told the Financial Times. Last year, Ukrainian drone strikes already dropped oil refining in Russia to a 12-year low of 267 million tons. But back then, the strikes were numerous but scattered and usually affected one refinery at a time, notes Vakulenko. Now, he notes, the campaign is aimed at all refineries in key regions of consumption and refining and could lead to unprecedented consequences for the fuel market. The UAV strikes hit refineries that are among the country's largest. Volgograd, Lukoil, 14.8 million tons per year, and Ryazan, Rosneft, 13.8 million tons per year. As a result, at least 10% of oil refining capacity was knocked out in just over 2 weeks, estimates Sergei Kaufman, an analyst at Phenom. To cover the deficit, the government imposed a complete ban on gasoline exports from Russia. This should add about 150,000 tons of fuel to gas stations. However, even with the export ban, domestic demand is not fully satisfied, Kaufman notes. A gasoline shortage has arisen in Crimea, where the authorities have returned to the Soviet practice of selling fuel with coupons. Gasoline has disappeared from gas stations in Transbaikalia, the Kuril Islands, and Primorye, where drivers are forced to stand in hours-long lines to fill up. Exchange prices for gasoline have jumped by 40–50% since the beginning of the year and have been rewriting historical records throughout August. The cost of AI-92 reached 72.6 thousand rubles per ton, and AI-95, 82.2 thousand. The situation is aggravated by the fact that no one knows how much gasoline is actually produced in Russia, Kaufman notes. Last year, the government classified statistics on refineries. The problems at the refineries are also connected with sanctions, which prevent them from being repaired properly. The head of the Ministry of Energy, Sergei Tsivilev, admitted in July. Almost all large Russian refineries were built and modernized with the participation of European and American companies. However, Western equipment for refineries was immediately subject to sanctions, as part of the first package for the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. In the 2000s, foreign design solutions accounted for 80% of equipment in oil refining. And even during the Soviet era, technologies for refineries were purchased in the West, in particular catalytic reforming units. Sergei Kondratyev, deputy head of the economic department of the Institute of Energy and Finance, noted earlier. The plants were never able to switch to domestic production, despite the state policy of import substitution. According to Kondratyev's estimates, by 2024, only 45% of the refinery's pumping equipment, 40% of the compressors, and only 30% of the reactors and coke chambers were domestic. Aerial scouts of Ukraine's 4th Border Detachment destroyed 10 Russian targets on the southern Slobozhansky front, 5 vehicles, a shelter, and 4 drone launch sites. Russian battlefield losses in 2025 are mounting at a pace not seen since the beginning of the war, with analysts warning that this year could become the deadliest yet for Moscow. Western intelligence estimates show that by mid-year, Russia has already suffered more than 236,000 killed or wounded, pushing the total toll since February 2022 past 1 million. Daily averages in the spring exceeded 200 casualties, with January and June each recording over 30,000 losses in a single month. Despite this staggering human cost, the gains have been minimal. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War calculate that Russia is losing nearly 100 soldiers for every square kilometer of territory captured in 2025, a dramatic rise from the previous year. Equipment attrition has been equally severe, with over 10,000 tanks, 23,000 armored vehicles, and tens of thousands of artillery systems destroyed or captured. These figures underscore a stark reality. Russia is pouring men and machines into the front at unsustainable rates while failing to achieve strategic breakthroughs. The war effort is increasingly defined by enormous sacrifice for marginal advances, leaving the Kremlin with fewer options and deeper strains on both its military and economy. Russia's periodic shutdowns of mobile internet services are crippling its air defenses, according to Russian war bloggers. Shutdowns frequently take place to hinder Ukrainian drone attacks, but are disrupting coordination of Russian air defense units. Both Ukrainian and Russian drones have used mobile internet services for navigation. To combat this, local Russian officials have ordered shutdowns during drone alerts, which has caused disruption for ordinary people, chaos for the economy, and hindrance to the air defenses. Mobile fire groups are a key part of these defenses, comprising tactical units equipped with portable air defense systems and tasked with providing rapid, flexible, and mobile air defense coverage, often deployed to protect specific areas. However, Russian war bloggers say the shutdowns are disastrous for the mobile fire groups, as they are wholly dependent on mobile messengers, such as Telegram or WhatsApp, both recently partly blocked in Russia, to coordinate between units. The Crimea-based blogger 13 Tactical writes, "It so happened that by the end of the fourth year of the war, the only stable and constant communication between units is mobile internet. I am deliberately not writing in which messenger, so as not to go against the wind." Whether this is bad or very bad is not important. This is a fact, which all sorts of people are trying to hush up, reporting the opposite to the top. Disabling mobile internet ruins coordination. I am ready to personally bring a report to the responsible officials, speak out, and justify why disabling mobile internet is sabotage against ourselves. During the active practice of disconnecting, the number of accurate drone arrivals and hits has not decreased. This does not give dependence and a positive result. On the contrary, much more could have been intercepted due to the interaction of different units. Veterans Notes complains, "Disabling mobile internet during an attack by enemy UAVs is absolutely useless. Moreover, as a colleague from Crimea correctly noted, it harms the groups that are fighting these very drones. Coordination between mobile fire groups occurs through closed chats in instant messengers. And there is no other way for now. Due to the disconnection of the internet, there is a simple collapse of coordination, as a result of which chaos and disorder begin to happen." Recently, while working as part of a mobile fire group covering Belgorod, I personally observed the coordinated work of everyone involved in repelling attacks on the city. The main coordination was done via the internet. Fast, convenient, and most importantly, effective. Only trusted people are in closed chats, who are added on recommendation. For those who are worried about secrecy, no secret information is published there. Only an indication of UAV flights with the name of the aircraft, altitude and control frequencies and video signal. The work is coordinated and clear. And all this because in Belgorod, they do not turn off mobile internet. In general, it is necessary to stop this useless practice. Ghost of Novorossiya confirms that it is absolutely useless, and in some places even harmful. Here, we can adopt the experience of Donetsk. They don't do such crap here. It doesn't remove the issue of UAV attacks, but it also doesn't interfere with the interaction of units and services. Disabling the mobile internet on the mainland, i.e. in Russia, is exclusively an initiative of officials on the basis of just in case, so that they can then report that measures have been taken and the work has been done. Useless, but that's it. To a certain extent, because of these useless initiatives of officials, the Ukrainians achieve their local goals of terrorist attacks. When a relatively small resource, and this is a small resource, achieves a hyper-reaction from the authorities, complicating and limiting both the life of the population and the work of structures and departments.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.